Right, we're continuing our road trip into the States, and we popped in to see Aaron from Mosaic Cycles. I've been dealing with Aaron for about 10 years. Mosaic's been going for around 13 years, isn't it?
Yeah, 13 years or so.
Aaron, do you want to give us a bit of background about how Mosaic came about? Where you
Sure.
came from, basically?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your evolution in the bike industry. There you go.
Yeah. I've been building frames now. This is almost my 20th anniversary. All of it's been here in Boulder, Colorado. Lots of bike riding here. No lack of inspiration for any type of riding that you need. And then I started Mosaic in 2009 as a small one-person operation, and it's been this gradual evolution over the last 10, 12, 13 years. Mm-hmm. To the point where we do everything in-house. There's about 7 or 8 of us that do anything from selling to fabricating to welding to painting. So we have a pretty big operation now. What is Mosaic Cycles?
Yeah.
So let's see. The couple attributes to the Mosaic name and kind of the branding around it. The term Mosaic was chosen because it kind of represented the approach to how I like designing bikes. A mosaic in and of itself are all these little tiny parts and pieces that don't necessarily have any cohesion, but when they're put together in a certain way, they give you this end product. They took all of those pieces, and that's very central to how we design, fabricate, and deliver bikes. It takes, front end customer service. It takes bike design knowledge. It takes fabrication knowledge, welding, finish work, delivery, bike mechanic. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Yeah. Think of all the things that it takes to just make one bike. It's not certainly easy, but put it all together, at the end of the day, that's the Mosaic. And your experience on that bike is representative of all those components. So that's the short answer.
Kind of holistic.
Pretty good, yeah. Holistic is a great word. Our tree is kind of like representative of sort of tree of life almost. Like it's a connection that we all have in cycling. Yeah. We're all from different backgrounds, but you meet a cyclist, we have this shared experience of what it's like to go out and ride a bike and have that kind of rider's high and the sense of adventure and camaraderie that you get with your friends when you're riding bikes, and the centering that a sport gives you, right?
It's a very calming thing we find. Dave and I chat about it quite a bit. So actually you can go out on your bike and you just forget about work.
Yeah.
You just forget about the other thing that's going on because you're in the moment. You're in that zone of I describe it as happiness, but it is.
It's meditative.
Yeah, it's so easy to share the stories of all the places you've been on a bike and all the fun rides you've had and all those emotional connections of those times when you were doing this one little route and the weather was like this and the air felt all crisp and you just it's a certain addiction probably. You want to come back and have that experience again and again. Maybe individually, maybe with collective group, maybe with a brand, and I think that's kind of the root and the heart of why I am in the cycling industry and why, for me also there's that huge connection of not just being an athlete, a cyclist, but also being kind of a designer, fabricator, craftsperson, and so for me it's there's that mosaic again. It's all those connections into one thing that I just can't stop doing. I just got to keep doing it.
But you've got a passion for it. You've got,
you bet.
How much does your environment affect your design around your bike?
A ton. The environment affects what we do a ton. How much does Colorado, Boulder specifically, affect what you do? I think there's a reason that I have titanium frames. I think there's a reason why they're maybe a little more performance oriented, and I would attribute that to the area we live in. The requirements for bikes here are it's kind of a harsh environment. There's a lot of climbing, there's a lot of descending, there's weather all year round. It's not a place where it's just suited to road biking, or mountain biking, or cross, We have a huge cyclocross scene here. I come to this from a lot of different angles, like bike design, or fabrication, or finish work, just being a machinist or whatever. I probably start from being a bike rider first. When I just drill down on it, at the end of the day, I really enjoy riding bikes and riding bikes fast and pushing the limits and maybe having a bike that allows you to push whatever limit you're trying to push in a certain way. And that's again the mosaic. That's where those little tweaks can come into The adventure bike, yeah. I mean, I'll be totally honest. Like, if you had said, like, "Hey, Aaron, are you riding an adventure bike?" 5 years ago, you would ask me. I'd be like, "Probably not."
Right, exactly.
And, you know, warming up to it, and yeah, that bike, having my GT1X, has literally changed some of the way that I'm riding and where I'm riding to, and what I'm doing on where I'm going, and the trails that I'm riding, or the routes that I'm making, or the trips that I'm going on. Of like, yeah, like let's go back there and do that again. You know,
It's giving you the versatility, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you may have not had on some of your other models you have.
And obviously, I'm a super bike nerd geek that gets to do all these things and have all these bikes.
Okay, and another awkward question probably.
Yeah. Oh, that's not an awkward question. Come on.
Well, okay. A question that made you think a little bit.
I'm only joking. Sorry.
Yeah.
You came in
in that.
Yeah. So you came into this, and this is how Mosaic came about, yeah. But who inspired Mosaic? You know, for you to create Mosaic. Well, what inspired you is another. I don't want to say other brand, but other say frame builder. You didn't only say the name of a brand, but there must be someone that you looked up to a little bit. You know, who inspired you to go where you are now?
I think when I started, I didn't really have a good answer to that question, because I didn't really look to a lot of people when I started doing this. You know, I started at a really young age, like 18 years old, doing this. And as I've kind of evolved as a person, as a frame builder, as a professional, I started to realize more that, okay, I have been following these people all along, and maybe I didn't want to admit that they had such an impact on me. But yeah, I started going to the handmade show, you know, at a very young age, and just seeing how other brands did it, and I think that stuff soaks in over time. I think nowadays I have a lot of respect for a lot of brands, is really the answer to that. I've always looked to Darren at Baum as like somebody who does things right, and really just is extremely professional in everything that he does. And even larger, you know, like Moots, like a brand that creates so many bikes and has made so many frames of every year for, I think they just turned 40, 45. Like, that's amazing, you know, like, you can't get over that. And I think my fascination with that nowadays is the context for how they got that stuff off the ground, and the amount of like passion and determination and just grit and willpower it takes to have that stay power for years and years and years and years. I don't know, maybe Mosaic gets to that point someday. I don't know if we're on that track or not, but really anybody in that space who's been around that long, I know there's some legendary names. Like, I don't put Aaron Barczyk in that conversation quite yet. You know, I don't deserve that. Hell no.
So just getting back to Spectrum Paint a little bit. What made you buy Spectrum Paint?
Yeah, I mean, there's many facets to it, all of the above. I think the kind of designer artist side of me knew that we wanted to have a little more cohesion in our brand's finished work out in the world. You know, we at the time were doing a lot of different finished work. We were happy with most of it. I think we wanted to see our quality step up quite a bit. We knew that as we grew, being able to kind of keep our renowned turnaround time as low as possible. And honestly, it's just, for me as the frame builder craftsperson, it's just fun. I really enjoy the painting process. I really enjoy the frame building. There isn't a frame in here that doesn't have my touch on it at some point of the process. So we kind of knew that was going to be a necessity. And there's other things that we still know we want to bring on in the future. And we were hoping that it would be pretty transformative for the Mosaic kind of image. I think we're starting to see that now after really kind of diving into it 5 or 6 years. We've carved out our own kind of imagery. We do all these knockout layouts. We've kind of retained the best of what we used to do with raw titanium etch work and kind of push that into the paint and color side of things. It's rare you see a Mosaic with a lot of pattern work. We're well known for just letting colors talk, you know, just like 1, maybe 2 colors max, do the talking for you. We don't necessarily have our logo that's like in your face, super prominent. I guess our two-tones nowadays, a little bit of that, but it's done in kind of like a modern classic way that doesn't need to have logos all over the bikes. Something that we hope you you get the bike and you're excited about it on year 5 and 10 as you were on day 1?
It must be nice to work with a brand like this, no? Yeah.
Over a corporation.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's my age, you know, so we see eye to eye on a lot of things. At a corporation, it's hard to, you know, see a lot of office people and people who don't seem to be working as hard as you are. You know, I come in on Saturdays, Aaron's usually here. I like to see that kind of stuff.
What's your favourite bike to ride?
I think for me it's like very seasonal. Like right now, it's cold here in Colorado. We're riding outside as much as we can. When it's sunny, I kind of turn to my all-road bike or my gravel bike just because bigger tire, it's maybe a little snowy out. I just put a fender on my all-road bike. That's probably my go-to. I love that bike. It has a lot of the characteristics that you're going to get on RT1 in terms of it's a little snappier, it's fun, it kind of feels like a road bike, maybe a little slower handling. Compliant, very comfortable. I've got it set up with this hodgepodge of components that gives it just a massive gear range, like really fast downhill gear, really great climbing gear, disc brakes, EI2, fancy wheels, you know, a little bit of tread, throw the fenders on, you're good to go. So just super versatile bike. I'll probably ride that all year round. We're planning on doing some gravel racing this year, so I kind of converted my gravel bike over to cyclocross for this fall. So I need to like unconvert it, put some fatter tires on it, take the 1x off, put my 2x back on, and get that ready for March because we got some racing coming up. And I probably spent easily 50 days on a mountain bike last summer. So you know, for me, I always get asked that question. I'm an enthusiast, like all around. I like all different types of riding. If you want to talk specifically about one, I would probably nerd out for this whole conversation just about a road bike or just about an all-road bike or just about a mountain bike. So, you know, that's kind of that's my state, you know, that's what you do as a frame designer.
What would you do if you weren't doing bike stuff? There you go, that's the last question.
Dude, don't ask me that.
Apart from being down the pub.
No idea. I have no idea. I can't even think that far back, man.
Aaron, thank you very much for letting us come in today and have a look around here, talk bikes, do some filming and stuff. It's been much appreciative. It's been brilliant working with you for 10 years. And hopefully another 10, 20 years you can carry on stuff.
Yeah, hopefully next time we do this, it's in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, definitely.
Make it over there.
There we go.
Cool.
It's been a good ride and I've enjoyed it.